What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the JTM episode 38. I'm here with my man, Connor MacKinnon. For those of you who don't know who that is, you didn't listen to the Eagles predictions episode for the NFL prediction series with my dude. And so go back and listen to that if you haven't listened to find out a little bit more about him. But this is not an NFL predictions episode. This is just having him on as a guest. And that's for a specific reason that we'll get into a little bit later. And then we're also just going to have a conversation about what our thoughts on the NBA potentially coming back is like later in the show after that. But to start off, what's going on, man? How you doing? Thanks for coming on.
Oh, I'm good. Glad to be on. Upgraded on the microphone, which
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
will
you
kind of
did, bro.
ease into why, but you told me to mess around with the settings a little bit before we started this, and it sounds
Yes,
like $1 million
sir.
bucks. I can't believe that this is my own voice. I, I don't know what I was hearing beforehand, but I'm a lot more impressed this time around.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's pretty crazy, like how with that, obviously I got the new shirt here, and that's, it's a whole can of worms. But
Not flexing whatsoever when you
that's
said
not
that.
even what
No.
I'm trying to do, bro. You see, you're putting words in my mouth right now, and I don't really appreciate that. No, I'm just playing. But no, what I am saying though is you can plug a USB. You can get a pretty good USB microphone like you have. You have a Blue Yeti Nano, right? And plug that thing into your computer, and you're a podcaster. And that, I mean, and there are some people who'd be like, I don't know what to do with my life, blah blah blah. Like, obviously, this isn't immediately going to give income, but I mean, podcasting's getting so big now. If you're interested in a certain topic, you can start a podcast about it, build that thing up for a couple years, and with apps like Anchor, I mean, you can start making money off that, and really build the start of your career. Obviously, it's going to be a grind, but that's something that everybody can do. I feel like obviously not everybody has the resources to buy a microphone, but even in that sense, a lot of laptop mics aren't that horrible. So you could even do it that way, and you can record it on your phone. If you got an iPhone, I mean, that's got a great mic on it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was testing it out on an iPhone. It works really well. I mean, it doesn't hurt if you can invest in a microphone that's $100. I mean, you can get a pretty good microphone for that. I mean, you don't really need to upgrade for a long time. I mean, you have a Blue Yeti. It's not a Nano, but you have a Blue Yeti, and it's served you well for a year and a half. About I don't know how long this has been going on for the podcast. It's been
About
been
not
a
not a
while,
year yet, but it's since like basically October, I think, somewhere around there.
and it's really good if you have Blue Yeti too, because it's easy to It's easy to take with you, and if you're going to go somewhere and
Exactly.
record. I mean, what Jude has is as impressive as it is. I think you could travel with it, but it seems like it's a little bit bulky.
Nah, I would rather,
No.
and just like how expensive it is. Like I'm still like I'm not gonna sell my Blue Yeti. Like I probably could and could make some money off of it, but like I would have to bring the mic stand and everything. Where if I'm gonna travel into a podcast, I might as well just get the Yeti, which sounds pretty good. And it's funny because obviously the king of podcasting, Joe Rogan. It's so cliche to bring him up whenever it comes to podcasting. But last year, sometime he did a podcast on a plane and he used the Blue Yeti. And so he had that, like, if he has this whole website where he has all of his equipment for people to, like, if they want to get into it, like deep into it, maybe they're even bigger podcasts and they're trying to upgrade, they can go on his website and see. But he has mobile, like, recording devices, and his number one is the Blue Yeti.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you have a brand like Joe Rogan, though, you can promote many things and make a lot of money off it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, hey, if you use a Blue Yeti Nano, I mean, it's gonna a win-win for everyone because it is a solid microphone. From what I've been researching, is it the best microphone in the world, like compared to what you have? No, but is it a really good microphone to use if you're starting a podcast? Yeah, and it could serve you well for a few years before if you want to upgrade.
Exactly. I mean, like you're saying, like it's still like that thing's like better audio quality than a lot of other podcasts sometimes. I remember at the beginning of like last year's college football season, ESPN revamped their podcast, and I'd listened to it the year before with it was like Herb Street and Fitzsimmons, and it was like Kirk Herbstreit and Ian Fitzsimmons, and then they rebranded it to where it was the college football show, and it was with David Pollock and Kirk Herbstreit. So it was no longer Ian Fitzsimmons, but it was still Herbstreit. And I remember like their first couple episodes, they were like doing phone calls, and like the audio on the Blue Yeti right now would be better than that. And those are like pros, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of it is just because they maybe been using the same equipment for years and you don't really realize it because all
Yeah.
you're doing is putting content out there consistently, which takes up a lot of your time. So trying to devote resources into doing the research and buying another microphone, sure, it's not going to take very long to do that, but it'll take some time, and you can always hire someone to do that. I mean, there should
Yeah.
be someone on the
Especially at
staff that's a tech
ESPN.
expert. Yeah, you should have a expert. So maybe it's not the microphone, maybe something else. I mean, who knows? I didn't realize we're gonna have to start off the
Hey
podcast being
man, we're
mic
just talking.
experts.
We're just talking, dog.
Yeah, no, I get you. I just say it's kind of funny because I'm no
Yeah.
mic expert whatsoever. I'm really new to this. Most knowledge I have is based on Adobe Audition, but that's still to a limited degree. I'm still very new and learning, which it's interesting. There's a like we've mentioned before in the podcast, there are levels to this.
Oh my gosh. Bruh, shout out to Deshaun, man. There are levels to this, man. But anyways, yeah, but the whole point of that was like you said, you don't really have to know it. Like I had to get an audio interface for this, which is basically just like a mini version of what we have at the radio station. And I know like for a lot of people, that stuff would be really confusing when they went in there and looked at it for the first time. You know what I'm saying? And but with a Blue Yeti like that, that's just a USB. I mean, not to say just because it is a good quality mic, and I'm sure people will hear the difference on this episode in comparison to hearing you on the KTSW chats and the last episode we had. But I mean, you can plug that. All you do is you plug that thing in, you're good to go. You get a pair of headphones like you have. All you need is that. They can even be earbuds, and it works the same.
Yeah, luckily my mom never uses these. Shout out to my
Yeah,
mom. She let me use these, but they're Bose, and Bose has been a really good
exactly,
headset. I mean, I could have used AirPods easily, but
exactly.
you can really hear the difference because the Blue Yeti Nano does have a port, so you can put it in the headphone set in, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes a huge difference. I was plugging into my computer, and Jude told me before the podcast, no, put it in your Yeti Nano. And I went, okay, whatever. He knows everything apparently. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is a huge difference. I could
Yeah,
hear myself. It kind of reminds me of doing a broadcast where you can actually hear yourself talk while you're calling the game, which is really nice to hear because then you can kind of, this is a little bit in depth, but like
you're
you can kind of
good.
hear what you're saying. So you can kind of change the way, if you hear something that's really repetitive, you can go, oh, I need to change that.
Yeah.
But if you can't hear yourself, you can't make those adjustments.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot that goes into broadcast for sure. And that's just like
Yeah.
you said, like we've been saying, man, there's levels to this, just like you're saying, man. But anyways, just wanted to talk to people for all of us. You've probably seen Connor on the KTSW chats. You're probably going to see him on we're recording this on a Monday, but it'll be out on a Tuesday. Um, you'll see him again on the Thursday episode that'll be released, which is a big one. I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but it's probably I don't know. Pinchback's a pretty big episode, but this will be a contender.
Yeah.
This will be
Considering like I didn't mean to interrupt you, but considering the circumstances of the guests that you got during this time, it's probably going to be number one.
yeah, it probably will be.
I'm being realistic here. I'm not trying to hype up Jude because he's already like that sounds terrible. Of course, I always want to hype up my man, but like I'm not trying to put extra hype on this. I legitimately think this will be the number one episode that he has, just considering who we have coming on for the show.
I
Well,
100%
you have coming
agree.
on.
Yeah.
It's not my podcast.
Well,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
hey,
Hey.
you've been on every KTSW chat, and I consider that all of you guys because without your guys' opinions, I mean, those are my most viewed episodes. So you guys are just, I distribute it and I get the Zoom call going and record it and do all the other stuff. But like, really, you guys make it. So y'all are just a part of that and deserve as much credit as I do on those.
I appreciate that's not really deserving because you do all the work after the podcast.
It's not that hard. It's really not.
Yeah, we'll see.
I just post it. I just post it and do a little other stuff. It's no big deal. But anyways, the point of that was you guys have seen Connor on those. We had him on for the NFL predictions with the Philadelphia Eagles. Funny story. I had my dad on today for Memorial Day, and because he's a 20-year Air Force vet, and he's also a Cowboys fan to an extent. He's a Cowboys and Saints fan, just because of the way he grew up. You can listen to it and find out more why on that. But yeah, we actually ended up predicting exactly what I thought the Cowboys were going to be. Connor, in our episode, I had him at 11-5, and that's where he has them too. So just one more game than the Eagles. I I don't know if they're going to go deeper in the playoffs, but I had them at one more game, and we both kind of had the same thing that we mentioned on the episode, and it's literally just because Jason Garrett is gone.
Yeah. Sorry, I was a little distracted there.
No, you're good.
I think I heard feedback from my cat. I think I heard meowing in the
I
background.
think I heard a little bit of
Yeah,
that
I
too.
was wondering because I was like, I don't think Jude has a cat, and I'm the only one
I
who
do
has
not have a cat. Do not have a cat.
Yeah, so I was wondering where the meowing
No
was
hates
coming
of cats though. I love
from.
cats.
No. I love all animals, but I'm more of a dog person, honestly. But cats just more convenient for college.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation. But But back to the Eagles. I know you kind of mentioned it with Jason Garrett being the offensive coordinator. Good luck to the Giants for the next few years.
Dude, I feel so bad for Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is a good quarterback too.
He just has to deal with freaking Jason Garrett. That's why I feel bad for him, because he is a good player and he's got potential.
And a bad O-line.
And a bad offensive coordinator now.
The clapper, Jason Garrett.
Yeah, that's what my dad was doing. He for one segment for 15 seconds, he just clapped. And I was like, oh
yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
Dude, he made so many he mentioned at least 10 times that Jason Garrett was just the worst thing. He was like, I know a lot of Cowboys fans have been fed up with him. He's like, I've been fed up with him since about a month after he got hired. And I was like, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think the one thing that benefits the NFC East is not only the incompetency of the Cowboys when it comes to their play sometimes, but the ownership as well. They often make flashy choices, and that's coming from an Eagles fan who's seen Howie Roseman make some flashy plays in the draft, which you can argue is bad, but I think he was trying to do what was the best interest of the team, and people may be angry with that. But hey, you make choices based on what you think is going to benefit the team. But the Cowboys, they took CeeDee Lamb in the first round, which, hey, great offensive weapon, but that's not what you needed. Your secondary is decimated. I mean,
they got Trayvon Diggs in the second round, but
true, but he's a rookie too, so he's got to have a learning curve, and you're probably going to get picked on a little bit.
And they could have got a better corner and got just as good and got a pretty good receiver in the second round.
Yeah, and there was rumors going around that I was hearing that Jamal Adams from the New York Jets may be going to the Cowboys, and that's his preferred destination. And I think, to me, that's disrespectful. I don't know if that came out from the Cowboys camp where they rumored that, but you got to pay Dak Prescott. I may not like the Cowboys, but I don't know what Dak Prescott's asking for. There's rumors about how he wants $45 million, which is crazy, but considering how the QB market for money per year is just going up, it's not out of this world. But for Dak Prescott and the level of player he is, it's a bit much.
Yeah, so there's a couple things there. So in regards to Jamal Adams, first of all, I'd like to say that he's a former Tiger, and I love Jamal Adams when he was at LSU. Knew he was going to be a beast whenever he went into the NFL. But he's from Dallas, I'm pretty sure. So I think that's why it could potentially be a destination. I think I remember there might have been an interview or something at LSU where he was like, he said he'd like to go to the Cowboys just because where he's from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that. I'm not saying I'm not blaming him for wanting to go to the Cowboys. I'm just blaming the Cowboys for
if they might have released something like that. I could totally see what you're saying.
Yeah, that would be – I don't think that's the case. I think it was probably from Jamal Adams' camp now that I'm thinking about it, because why would the Cowboys jeopardize saying they want to sign another marquee free agent when you're trying to get a contract done for Dak Prescott, who, as much as I do not like, has been consistently better. If you look at the overall record between Wentz and Dak has won most of the games against Carson Wentz. And that some of it's due to injury, some of it's due to coming back from injury, but I mean, taking all that aside, Dak has played better than Carson Wentz in most of the games and has won the games. So I can't refute that. And considering that he's been consistent, never missed a game since he's been a starter in the NFL, you got to pay him. But they want to play hardball, and they have Andy Dalton, who's a pretty good backup, and he could start if he wanted to. I think
he'd play honestly, I think if he started, I think he'd play the best football of his career, because I don't think he hasn't had an offensive line that's as good as Dallas, even though their offensive line isn't as good as last year. He hasn't had the receivers as good as Dallas, even though he had A.J. Green. and he hasn't had a running back as good as Ezekiel Elliott. He just hasn't had every facet of the offense. He hasn't had anything as talented as what Dallas has. And he took, granted, he lost every time, but he took the Bengals to 5 straight playoff appearances in his first 5 years. I think he'd play the best football of his career, considering, he's from Houston, but he went to TCU. He's had a Dallas home for a long time. I think if he started, he'd play the best football of his career.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I know we kind of went on tangent. This was not the thing we're supposed to do, but
we're talking, bro. Keep it going.
I know. I was just thinking about it from just recently with the episode that we did previously about the Eagles prediction. We kind of really went in depth with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Too, because it's really the Cowboys and the Eagles division right now.
Exactly.
The Redskins, I think they'll be much better and they'll compete in these NFC East games, but they're just not there yet. They need a few more years of coaching and getting a quarterback who can be consistent. I know Dwayne Haskins showed some signs of life.
But we got to see how he plays next year.
Especially against the Eagles secondary, which got better, thank goodness. I couldn't stand watching a go route where I had to watch Ronald Darby just get crucified every single time. Now he's with the Redskins. I know I made a joke about that, which I don't know why they made that move. No offense to Ronald Darby. I just haven't seen anything when he was the Eagle. It's saying, what's up with, I realize this. We got Nnamdi Asomugha years ago. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback for the Raiders, if I remember correctly. Came to the Eagles and just was pretty big bust. Paid him big money and didn't show up at all. We kind of have a history of paying or giving up draft capital or paying these cornerbacks to come to the Eagles, and they just haven't performed.
Hopefully that's not Darius
Slay.
I don't think so either, but I see your nervousness. I think I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, Darius Slay played against Megatron in practice, and I feel pretty confident that he could shut down our receivers. But that's going to be something to watch. And I mean, of course, Jalen Mills is going to be playing safety. I think he'll be playing a hybrid role, which is interesting. I know he's your guy from LSU. Jalen Mills is going to be interesting to see if he's going to play nickel corner or if he's going to be playing safety, like they said in reports. I have to wait and see. But yeah, that's kind of that was my diatribe on the NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys.
No, in regards to Jalen Mills, what I can tell you is that obviously you know what I'm about to say here, but LSU cornerbacks or just defensive backs are very versatile. For example, Kerry Vincent Jr. this year played a lot of corner. He's going to start at safety next year. You see what I'm saying? So they're very versatile, and they can. There were a lot of times Grant Delpit this year lined up as a corner. So I think Jalen Mills might play better in the safety role. I hope he does for your sake and just for his. I think that's a good move by them, and it's not going to be like a huge learning curve. Like I think he played a little bit of safety sometimes when he was at LSU. So that's going to be a move that will transition seamlessly. It just depends on, the productiveness and how if he produces from that position.
I think the worst game Jalen Mills ever had in his Eagles career, and you could debate this, was probably against Miami. Devontae Parker just made him look terrible. And he's a really good corner sometimes, but I don't know if he has the legit speed to be able to be a cornerback consistently on the outside. On the inside, maybe, because he's a really hard hitter. And I think that's their thinking from the Eagles standpoint, is that they want to move him to safety because even though he isn't the quickest, he can get there and he can lay some brick down. He can really hit some people. And I'd like to see that. I know there's things they're talking about against the Redskins this season where he played safety. I don't really remember that being the case. He probably did. I just wasn't paying attention to that
much. Yeah.
But I know that they've done that. And so I'm interested because Kayvon Wallace they drafted and safety, and he's really good safety. And I watched the highlights when he played for Clemson. Really solid pickup in the 4th round. He was the captain of the team on the defense. And the last time I mentioned this, last time the Eagles drafted a Clemson safety was Brian Dawkins. And that's a lot of hype. And I can't say he's going to be Brian Dawkins. I can never say that because Brian Dawkins is arguably one of the best Eagles on defense to ever, besides Reggie White, to come on and play and wear an Eagles uniform. So I want to see what they might put him in nickel. I'm not really sure. I'm glad that we have this problem where it's like, I'm not sure who's good enough to play this situation, because that wasn't the case a year ago. We're just like, you know what, just go in. You know what, wide receiver? Okay, yeah, you go play safety. they got to those points where they're just pulling off practice squad players.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited. I really want to see what the secondary does. The D-line didn't really impress me that much, and I think they're getting a little bit older. We'll have to, like I said, I'm confident. I feel better than last year about the roster. It's my dad. But we'll have to see about that. I'm going to be curious to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It'll be a fun NFL season in multifacets, because who knows if there will be fans in the game, who knows if it'll just be like a certain number, so there are a lot of different aspects to the NFL season, not just with the Eagles. It'll be a lot of fun watching football this year, and it seems like we're going to have it. And I think that's the most important part, for sure. But yeah, man, just to get into the show, after we just talked a little bit, I mean, of course, that was also the show, but to get into what we had scheduled, is a better way to put it. Just to talk about, like, I guess from your perspective, I'll just shoot at you. So I know, like I said, I've tried to get into this a couple times, and then we got off topic, just talking about football and all that stuff. But like I've said a couple times already, you've been on a couple episodes, the KTSW chats and the Eagles predictions, and that's because we became pretty good friends at KTSW. This year we definitely got a lot closer, I would say. But if you just want to go on with like how we met, and I guess your perspective on, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out a way to word this, but like, just because I don't know how to talk.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting because, like, I didn't realize how good this mic picks up a little bit of sound. Like, I could slightly hear my family in the background, even with the doors closed, which is slightly distracting. But no, I get what you're talking about. But proceed. I just was interesting because I was listening to what you're saying, but I was like, man, I was thinking about, man, this mic picks up some sound.
You're like, dude, I can like put this around the house and just like have my headphones on, like just sitting in here, and then like you can snoop on the conversation. This is how the NSA sees everything.
No, that I don't think that's a good idea at all about my household. But yeah, that's a little weird, and like, I know why you're laughing, but that's maybe one reason, but there's numerous reasons why.
Okay.
But no, about us becoming friends, I was stalling for time because I was trying to remember what you said, and I realized, well, how do we became friends?
Yeah.
I went, oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. No, we first started off in KTSW sports. It was the spring semester of 2018. And I remember that
was 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking a year ago.
2018, 2019 school year, though.
It's getting close. Yeah. I think that's what I was trying to go with. But yeah, we went in to try to become reporters for KSW Sports. I saw in an email that they did radio shows, they did some podcasting, wrote articles, and they covered sports, and I was interested in that. And so I applied for it.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but now I've never asked you this. So, like, how did you find out about it?
Yeah, it's through email. It was through email. I was looking through my email.
You just got the email?
For KTSW, and they were having, I just kind of, I don't know why I had the desire, because it didn't say sports on it. It just had.
It was just the KTSW email. Okay. Like how they send out, like, the University Star is hiring. KTSW is hiring. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it about me because I know, but it sets up for when I met you. It was a great opportunity, and I just love sports, and I never had a platform to talk about it. And that's where I met you, is we both got in that same semester. We didn't really talk so much the first time we met.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew each other. I was probably closer with Deshaun at that point. And I wasn't as close with Josh or you quite yet. But me and Deshaun knew each other pretty well because we were working the hardest to try to see who would get the director position, because the director at the time was going to be graduating. So we were kind of working at each other. It was competitive. We were friends. And we didn't really get closer till the next school year, towards December before 2020 hit. And I mean, I get the details why, but certain circumstances were – we got really
but even before then,
yes, true,
but like we were talking a lot more because and I don't want to get into it too much, but I'm not even getting into that. We're not.
No,
No, not at all.
That's
Oh
why I
God.
said this would be funny, but like I was gonna avoid it as much as
Dude,
possible.
so many thoughts. I didn't even think of this when I asked you this question, dude. Just so many thoughts just came into my mind, and I'm kind of scared. But anyways, point is, like whenever our guy Deshaun, some dumb circumstances with Texas State.
Yeah.
Not just really honestly, I gotta blame it on them. That's just what I'll leave it at that. Unfortunately, couldn't be the director because Texas State is stupid. That's what I'm gonna say. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to like put that out to be like, oh, look at what Deshaun couldn't. And I know he knows I don't mean that, but I just want to say that for his respect. But so we kind of just ended up getting closer then because I got moved up into the assistant director position once that happened. And so then it was you, me, and Josh as the assistant directors. And I think all of that that made us all closer, I think for sure. And at that point, everybody who was super experienced in KTSW had graduated. So it was really all on us to kind of just like build the thing and get it going for the fall semester again. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons that like we got closer. And then there were some other circumstances later in the semester that we will not get into.
Yeah. Obviously. Off the record.
Off the record, yeah.
Off the record, but no, yeah, I agree with you. I was just laughing because I was trying to get to that point because I knew it would make you laugh, but also that is true. We got really close during that time because it was at a point where we were starting a fall semester where we had no experience at all with that, dealing with how to do volleyball, Texas State football, San Marcos High School football, even Texas State soccer as well. So we had to balance a bunch of sports as well as Texas State women's basketball, men's basketball, because it was kind of right after a few sports and that started up. So it was about 5 or 6 sports going on at the same time, which is really hectic and stressful trying to manage all the broadcasts. So we all had to communicate with each other. And we got a lot closer because of that. And that was one of the big things. Oh, that's the little guy. That's the little guy, Max. Yeah, he's right here. Yeah, he's the little guy. This is Max.
What's up, Max?
He just got adopted. He's a young guy. He's really curious. I don't blame. I'm gonna put him up here. A little distraction. So it's a whole other conversation.
For our audio listeners, a cat just jumped up on the screen. It's Connor's new kitten.
Not mine. It's my parents.
See that.
My parents. They want to get a kitten for my cat because she'll probably end up being here for the rest of the year when I move to my apartment because my friend has a dog, and we all know how cats and dogs don't like each other. But no, and that really brought us closer. And we had to figure out a lot of problems along the way. And man, this cat just wants to have a day. I'm gonna put you down here, little guy. All right. Man, sorry about that. Poor podcast listeners are going, what is going on? I was like, sorry, I have a pet
dude, kitten. I forgot what I was saying earlier, and now there's a cat invading the show. It just happens.
Yeah. So to give this context before we talk about our friendship, which I know so I have a cat who's a year old, and we just recently got this new cat. My parents did, and and so they're trying to introduce them, which is a really complicated process because my cat is a year old, so a lot of territory, and so they have to sniff each other and they have to kind of see each other through glass so they get used to each other. So, and that's been a bit difficult. She'll hiss a little bit. There's no swatting going on, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
But they have to separate them through glass, and this is kind of what they're doing right now. That's why sometimes you can hear the door open and close because my dad's coming in, moving. So yeah, that's kind of the context. So people, if they hear opening doors or cats meowing, it's because of the process, and I apologize for
gotta build cat relationships, dog.
I apologize to the listeners.
You see what I did there?
I think I did. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Oh goodness sakes.
Oh my gosh. But that's like basically I just wanted to say like that's why you've been on all the shows. I mean, it's a similar story for Josh and Deshaun, although I would say that Deshaun and we got kind of close like in the first spring semester as well. But anything else for you on that, just to like introduce you to the show and, just to kind of give you a little bit of a platform?
Oh, is this the next segment
Not,
that we're
no, no,
going
no,
into?
not
No.
there, not
Is it
there,
okay? I was
not
wondering
that.
if that was a teaser.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean it is, but you know, it was subtle. Like we won't talk about it just yet.
No, I mean, I'm really excited to be part because I didn't know Jude was doing podcasts when I met him. And this little guy just loves attention. Okay, you're gonna be right here for a bit in my arms. Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think I started until like last semester sometime, but I'm not the type of course, like I'm saying this on a podcast that'll be posted on like major platforms, which is kind of hypocritical with what I'm about to say just in itself. But I'm not a guy who like in our workplace, like we have like however many coworkers at the time. We probably had like 11. I don't know how big our staff was last semester. It was like maybe 11, 15. And like, it's funny watching him just jump. But like I wasn't announcing it to everybody there. So that's probably why you didn't know.
No, yeah, and I know you were kind of because I would see it the JTM, and I know this is terrible to say, but I remember I'd see it go like, "What is this?" Because
Yeah.
I thought it was like your friend's podcast. I didn't realize it was you till I put context clues. I was like, "Oh, JM." I don't know what your
Yeah.
middle name is, but like I know it's Jude
Wait, you
McLaren.
don't know what my middle name is?
No, I don't know what your middle
You
name is.
actually don't know what it is? Oh,
Now, I think
gosh.
Amanda said it once, and for the listeners, that's Jude's girlfriend, Amanda, who I also think helped our relationship too because we were both friends with her, so I think that kind of played it
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. We're like our own friend group at the same time, just the three of us. We get along pretty well. But yeah, it's Tucker.
Tucker,
That's my middle name, yeah.
Jude Tucker McLaren.
Yeah, yep. You want to
You
know
don't
what?
like it, do you?
No,
You
no,
don't like
no, no,
that
no,
middle
no,
name.
no. I don't mind it. I like it. But I just think of whenever I say that now, I just think of Amanda going, Jude Tucker. And I'm just like, God, why do you have to say it like that? You sound like my
Yeah,
mom, and that's just gross.
yeah. I wish people could see our faces.
Oh
I
no,
have no.
they will. This will be a YouTube
Yeah,
video.
no. But if you're listening, I'm sure you made the same face when he said that too. A bit
Yeah,
concerned, but
that's on her. But don't worry, Connor. Don't worry, Connor. She won't get mad at me for this. You know why she
no,
won't?
yeah. I
Like,
know why. She never listens to it
she won't
anyways.
listen, bro. She won't listen. Anyway,
For how many cents a day
I think
for
we've said
Jude? You can
that.
just press play.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
think we've
like
said that.
roasting her as much as I can because what she's gonna do if she hears this. I mean,
Like,
because she won't hear
she's not
this.
gonna hear it. Yeah, she's not gonna listen. Anyways, she supports me in other ways. I would like to say that, and that sounded really bad.
Oh,
That's not what I meant to say.
watch her listen to this one. Like
Yeah,
this will be the
that's
episode.
not what I meant. I meant that she's God, she's a very I appreciate I see I can't even say anything now. I can't even say anything now.
Anything that you can
She's
and
a
will be
great
said will be
girlfriend.
used against
That
you
is
in the
what
court of law.
that's what I will say. I will say she's a great girlfriend. And you know, when I mention it to her, she'll press play for like 5 seconds and then close Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Meanwhile, I'll listen to the whole thing and be like, "Yeah, that's my guy."
Exactly. Or other people will, other people will listen. If you're listening right now, thank you. And I want to let you know that you've already listened longer than Amanda has. Even if you left 10 minutes in, you still listened longer than Amanda has.
Even if you are 5 minutes in, you still listen more. In fact, if you're even 10 seconds in, you've listened longer than Amanda has. So congratulations to anyone who has listened this far.
You've officially listened to this longer than Jude's girlfriend has. But
it's okay. She can take it. She can take it. It's okay.
She can. I was gonna say something else. I don't know what it is.
This turned into this podcast supposed to be about friendship and talking about sports, and this ended up being about cats and microphones and the NFC East. Man, this has been a little bit of a shaky start, but hey,
it's not shaky. We're just talking, but we got off track. People know this if they listen to the JTM, even my solo shows. They know I get off track. But yeah, man. So okay, there's a reason I have you on, right? When we're talking about podcasts, and people are probably like, "Oh, cool, Connor got a new mic," but there's only really a reason you get a new mic. So Connor, why did you get a new microphone? Why did you get that Blue Yeti Nano? It's
Yeah,
because I told you
so
to. Spoiler.
yeah. Well, yes, Jude did advise me. I've had two people talking to me about. No, I'm being honest. I've
I
had two
know,
people.
but it is anyways.
I know you thought it was funny, but I went right past it. I was like, "That's not funny at all. Let me say what I have to say."
Wow.
No.
I might as well leave at this point. Anyways.
Yeah, I'll take over. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning up for you like I usually
What's your
do.
middle name? What's your middle name?
Alexander.
Okay, this is the Cam.
Yeah. But I won't get into. Okay, so the reason I got a new mic is that I'm going to be starting a podcast soon, my own podcast. I'm not going to give the details of what I'm calling it yet, even though I already have a name in place. But I'll give the audience 3 letters, DCR. So you can figure that out and try to see. You're not going to get it, first of all, but that's acronym DCR. Just that's what I'm going to give. But the podcast show is basically going to be me talking about sports, kind of similar to what Jude does. I really want to get guests in. I want to talk about my favorite teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Heat for basketball. It's just an opportunity for me to actually have a platform to talk about national sports. Because Jude, when we went to KW Sports, I think we all had this expectation we're going to be talking about professional sports. That wasn't necessarily the case. We were going to be talking a lot about Texas State, which is a little bit naive on our part and a little bit ignorant. Because when you're going to KW Sports and you're at Texas State, you're probably going to be covering the college teams. But I really wanted to talk about national sports because I know that. Look, I'm 21 years old, no connections to ESPN or anything, but I have my own opinions on the sports, and I think being a fan and trying to be objective and see things from different angles, I think I provide a unique aspect when it comes to that, and I really want to be able to showcase that. I also want to have fun. I think it's a challenge too because this is not my field of interest whatsoever, but I think it's interesting. I want to see what I can be able to do with sports and also what I do for a living and bringing on guests as well and kind of seeing where I could take it. I want to do this consistently. I mean, I wouldn't invest in a mic like I have right now if I don't think I can do this and do this consistently. I've thought about it and I made an investment into doing this, and I'm committed to. I'm really looking forward to seeing what is going to come out of my mouth when I do these podcasts. But I'm just really excited. It's a new opportunity, and I want to thank Jude because he really gave me some platform too to start off with. He invited me on the podcast, and to me, I just thought it was fun, and it's always been fun. But it's also kind of set me up to be able to be successful and have my own podcast. And you and Mark Brown, who has his own podcast, The Lowdown, and people need to go check that out because
Definitely.
it's really good.
Need to go listen to The Lowdown.
But Jude McLaren and Mark Brown have been kind of my advisors when it comes to building this podcast up. I mean, Jude made my logo for me, and that means the world to me because I would not know how to start off and do that. So it means a lot to me that he helped me along, and it takes a village in order to. I was gonna make up a really great quote, and I had it on the tip of my tongue.
It makes a village to like raise a child, is what
yeah,
the
it
quote
takes a village
is.
to raise a child.
Connor, you're having a podcast, baby.
Yeah,
you're pregnant. Connor's. That's title of the episode. Connor's pregnant.
Man, the clickbait. It's gonna be great.
No, dude, I'm actually naming that the episode is the thing.
Oh, goodness sake. No, but I'm just really excited. I mean, I'll probably give a lot more praise when I release my podcast. I'm thinking about releasing the episode Sunday. Nice. So breaking news for everyone. That's probably my first episode. It's going to be this weekend.
Cool.
So if people are listening, tune into that. But yeah, no, it's been great to work with Jude and Mark, and they've helped me out so much. It means the world. And I've mentioned this, they've done so much for me when it comes to not only podcasting and working with them, but their friendships mean like way more to me. And that's the most important part in all this is that it means the world to me. They were able to take their time out and help me out. And I know that.
No, yeah. You're good, bro. I mean, I'm not even trying to cut you off, but like, I mean, of course, like we're good friends, and you've been there for me, and I know you've been there for Mark. And so we're going to be there for you to help you out in any way possible. But on top of that, I mean, really this is more with me. Mark does still have a job he works, but like everybody else, we ain't got, what to do. with all this COVID stuff. And I think that's another reason why this is a great thing for you, because I think, this could, I pray to the good Lord above that this never happens again. But the reality is we'll probably be dealing with something like this again in our lifetimes, unfortunately. That's what it seems like. It may not be for another 10 years or something like that, but this is something that people have been talking about and warning about. And, whatever is actually going on, that's all I'll say about that. Regardless, this may happen again. Hopefully it doesn't, but there's a possibility of it. And if you can get a source of income with something like this, not that it's all about the money, it's obviously not. We have a great time doing this. And I think, with the episode that comes out on Thursday, that's going to be really important for the San Marcos community to hear what is going on and really hear it from the horse's mouth, if you will. But it's a one-horse town, Connor. But I think it's opened our eyes a bit with having other sources of revenue in content creation. And I think that's become much more valuable because you can still do that at home and be able to have revenue and income if a situation like this ever arises again, where, hey, I know I'll be okay, or I'll have something.
Yeah. Hold that thought one moment. You can edit this for a second. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Sorry about that, everyone. I know this can be edited later. But
No, I'll just cut that part out and you can just respond to what I said now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it just means a lot to get help because I don't know everything. And I think what makes people successful is being able to take opinions from other people and get verdicts, because you're not going to be an expert in everything you do. You can learn about a subject, but having someone that has experience doing podcasts or being in sports for so long and having information that you may not have and knowing you're not the smartest person in the room, that really does help with connecting with other people and building relationships that way. And I think that's also the key too, is just realizing that you can reach out to other people. And this is not a PSA for mental health, but yeah, you can reach out to other people and ask for help, and they are usually going to help you and yeah, I don't know where I was trying to go with that, but thank you is what I'm trying to say. In all of this.
Yeah. Oh Lord, for those of you who are listening right now, Connor's thought track or train of thought, choo. I just thought of that for the first time. Train of thought might have been a little bit muddled there because he had to leave and we had to edit it out. But
it's been a little bit of a battle, this podcast, because just in and out noise, and I'm sure that my parents don't know that I'm doing that. I think they do, but I just hear background. It's annoying me so much, and I don't want to be disrespectful whatsoever. But I want this to be good, and I hate the background noise. I'm sure the people are glad to hear it.
One of the things that are great about these Sennheisers is that they're also noise canceling. So when you put them on, you only really hear I only really hear your voice. I've heard a little bit of cars passing outside and if they're blaring music, but
wow.
other than that, the mic's not gonna pick it up, or it did, but I'm pretty sure it didn't. And I mainly just hear you. So
okay, good. That's the whole point of this. Hopefully,
yeah.
It says because the way you have to talk into the mic is right to it, and it usually cancels out here. But we'll know later when you edit
the podcast
this.
setting. I'm sure it's gonna sound great, but and if there's background noise, you told the people. But yeah, just as a little bit of a final topic, actually, before we get into that, is there anything else you want to say about your show?
I'm going to try to do at least once a week. That's the goal. I won't be doing as many Jude does a week because that's a lot.
Yo, this week I'm trying to do it every day this week.
You're insane.
Hey,
that's what that is.
Gotta grind. It's not hard at all. I'm just being real. I know, hey, I don't know, man. To me, this isn't hard. But anyways, I've had people be like, Jude, you're insane or whatever. You're the second person who's told me that today. And
in a good way. I wasn't meaning
no, I know you don't mean it that way, but I don't know. Man, this is just me, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody or to you either. I'm just saying Brad, podcasts are not you can make money off them, but they're not work. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I know this is what you want to do for a living as well. That's extra motivation. If I know what I'm doing for a living and this is an avenue to it, I'm going to work as hard as I can to put content out there. That's just what I'm going to do at the end of the day. If you want to be successful, something you got to work for it.
Exactly. I don't know, man. And also like with this whole quarantine thing, like I go over to Amanda's every once in a while, but like other than that, I don't really do much when I get home. And like I can play video games for like a certain amount of time, but like after a little bit, I don't even want to do that. And then it's like watching shows. It's just I'd rather do something like this where it's like way more productive. I might even record another episode after this. I don't know, but well, that would be a solo. But
I
anyways,
know.
point
I
is,
mean, like, I understand if you do one tomorrow, but like doing 3 podcasts in one day,
hey, dude.
that's a lot for the average Joe.
Well, I'm about to. Well, I'm going over to Amanda's on Thursday, so everybody pull up. You know exactly where I'm at. If you're a serial killer, hit me up. Um, your face. No. But the point is, because it's a joke, anyways. I'm not.
No, I know it was a joke, but like I thought. Okay.
Letting people know where I'm gonna be every day. That's what I do on the show. But no, man, no. In all seriousness, that's like why I was thinking about doing that, because I'm trying to get all of them. Because the cool thing about Anchor, which you will be using, if you don't mind me saying that,
Yeah.
is you can schedule episodes. So if you're going out of town or something, you can knock them out and they'll still go up. No excuses. But another thing I wanted to mention about your show, if you don't mind me, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just want to
Okay.
say, like, I don't even have an intro on here. I did an intro one time, and it was after LSU beat Alabama. That's the only time I've ever done like intro sounds. And but your intro, like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it, and I know you don't want to reveal too much about it, but I'll just say Connor's intro is really good. He was saying he doesn't know that much about audition, but I'm telling you, you got more experience than the average person coming in and starting a podcast when you work with a professional audio system, an editor like Audition. So it sounds clean, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward just to seeing the reactions as well. I mean, I don't know if people are going to listen to it, if I'm being completely honest. I know
Hey,
like my
dude.
close friends will, and that doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's not the point. But just putting some content out there and see what people think. I like listening to other people and what they have to say and what their opinions are. I just think that's what the beauty about podcasting. I'll go on a little quick monologue about
All right,
podcasting.
do it, dude.
Podcasting to me is an element where you get people together and you put it out there. It's kind of similar to just having conversations, but instead we feel the need that we have to put it out there, which is a good sentiment because people come in all shapes and sizes and they have their own unique perspectives on life. And I think that's kind of what podcasts do, because people have a certain outlook, and of course they have a certain topic, bringing guests in, or they focus on sports, but in all of that, they have the opinion and they want to share it and share it with usually a few people. And that's kind of the beauty of it. It's just kind of like having conversations with your friend, but instead of, you know, instead of having the conversation, you get to share it with everyone else, which is a good and sometimes bad thing, because people, even though they they may not care, which is fine. They feel like they have to say something, even though you could just not say something and move past it. It's not for you. If you don't like it, then fine, move on. That's kind of how that works. But people have good things to say. Some people have bad things to say, but that's kind of how the game works.
Yeah, exactly. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
The game.
But anyways, yeah, man. Podcasts just being like long form, like audio content where like people can actually get their ideas out. When everything on the news or other stuff, it's just like quick stuff, where it's never, like actually thought out and like fully explained. I think that's my favorite part about it. And as you've noticed, like recently, my episodes have gotten a lot longer, especially when I've gotten people on. So I don't know if that really responds to what you were saying. I'm going to be honest. I kind of zoned
No,
out there.
no,
But
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But like to say about what's interesting about your podcast, Jude, is that you share the spotlight with everyone, which is really unique, because most people, when they start a podcast, it's like, oh, it's me. But you've been willing to put on the whole KSW crew, which I think is unique. And it's kind of difficult to do that with that many people, but you somehow make it work and pull it off, and it still is a fantastic episode. And it's also great because it shows the type of person you are. That's not about me; it's about everyone else, and that's a unique quality that you have in general. And man, that's one of the reasons you're one of my best friends, is because you're not selfish. You always think about other people and you care about other people. And that's just a unique quality, because I don't see that in many people. And of course, you have to be selfish sometimes when it comes to certain things about your life, but you're willing to go the extra mile to help someone out. And that's what means a lot. And that shows in your podcast who you are as a person. So I just want to say
Well,
that.
hey man. Well, first of all, I appreciate that, and then I got a couple shout outs after you say that. So one, I got to say my mom, if you want to talk about that, I mean, I that's great. Like, I truly appreciate that. And I'm really like, honestly, that makes me feel good that other people do see me in that way. Cause you wouldn't want to be seen as somebody who's super selfish and only cares about themselves. But that's all my mom, shout out, me and my dad, I've mentioned this before. We've went through our struggles, and, there are some times where we didn't talk for a little while, but we're in a great relationship now. But for the most of my part of my life, it's just been me and my mom who's raised me, all by herself, while also taking care of my grandmother. So, I mean, she's my superhero. She's my idol. And so, I mean, it's really, all of that goes to her for somehow paying the bills, taking care of, my grandmother, and taking care of me at the same time, and raising me. So, I mean, I remember she bought a book on like how to raise like a son. Like, I mean, she did everything she could. So shout out to her for everything, because without her, I wouldn't be the person I am, or where I am today. But another thing you mentioned about like other people, I mean, I got to say, you mentioned the whole KTSW crew, and yeah, I wanted to get people on, but I still remember the Coach Pinchback episode.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I was going to have just him, and he was like, nah, we need to get everybody. So I want to say, like, yeah, even sometimes I do have like, oh, I want to take this all, right. I wanted to have that for that, but he kind of reminded me in that situation that, it needs to be everybody. And it's not that, and once he said that, I was like, that would be a way better idea. And that would be a ton of fun. So like, it wasn't necessarily like, I knew that was the better idea. He kind of helped me see it. And you talked about putting other people, just another shout out to Pinchback, the family mentality, man. Just forget about me. I love you.
Love you.
That's a quote that's like, that's for real. I mean, family's an acronym and sorry, I gotta make sure my lighting's good here. But it's literally just my monitor with the 24-hour white screen on the PlayStation YouTube app. But makeshift. That's what I'm saying, bro. People, if it's dark in your room, find a way. You don't have to get a big like lighting thing or anything. You can literally just get your computer screen or your gaming monitor, your TV, put it on YouTube if you have that capability. And I mean, usually most people like have something in their room. Like most days, like I think all my friends either have a gaming system, or this is totally getting off topic, or even Amanda, she doesn't have a gaming system in her room, but she has, a smart TV. Obviously not everybody has that, but a lot of kids I know that would have the ability to do podcasts would have something like that where you can make some makeshift lighting. So just some other podcasting tips. But yeah, man, I mean, I appreciate that a ton. And I have more fun with you guys. And I'd like to say that, it really is like, I wouldn't be where I'm at on my podcast without you guys. Cause ever since I showed you the analytics graphic, ever since I released the KTSW chat, I mean, it is like the line was like, it was kind of intermittently going up. Right. But then it goes like this, like to like right here, whenever we released the first KTSW chat. So a lot of the credit for my podcast getting more viewership goes to you guys. And I truly appreciate it.
Anytime, brother.
Well, we said we were going to talk about the NBA coming back. I know we've been going for a while. I mean, I think we can kind of make that shorter, to be honest, because I think we've been going for a pretty long time. Just because, honestly, I felt like that was a pretty good way to wrap up. But
yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
it's like it's a comment you and then like out.
But we'll make a little bit of short, since we said at the beginning of the episode we'll do it. Just because honestly we don't have too much insider information anyway. But just what are your thoughts on like the NBA most likely actually coming back, even though it'll all be played at Disney World, it seems?
Yeah, I was actually looking up because there was a report that came out from Bleacher Report, and it was an article saying report NBPA's Michelle Roberts calling players detailing talks for NBA return. It was talking about how the Golden State Warriors are the only official team that will not be able to make the playoffs, mathematically speaking. but they're trying to figure out a traditional conference format that sees the teams number 1 through 16, inviting only 16 teams to Orlando, and which would I was reading the
From
article
each
said,
conference? From each conference?
I think from everyone like 1 through 16. That's what it sounds like in this
Oh,
article.
so probably. I wonder if the Spurs would be there. I don't think they would.
No, and that's the kind of the issue in all this because yes, you want to resume the NBA season, but realistically, it would be hard to do that and do the playoffs. Like, you're probably going to have to go straight to the playoffs, which would be unfair to teams like the Spurs, the
Or the
Pelicans.
Pelicans. Yeah, the Spurs are probably out, but the Pelicans are not out. And I don't know if they'd be top 16 either. So it's like, I think from what it seems like, from what I've read, I don't mean to interrupt you, even
No,
though I am. But from what I've read, and I could be wrong, because you're reading this report, I had seen something from ESPN where they were literally going to play out the season for like 2 weeks, like the rest of the season. Maybe not the Warriors since they're just out, but like every team, like they'd play out the season for like 2 weeks and then they'd go to playoffs. But it would be like every team like plays like 2 games in one day sometimes.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it's going to be because the NBA season sounds like they're returning.
Which is good. I'm just happy for that. Even if I don't like the format and it doesn't happen, I'm just happy that basketball will be back and the season will be played. Because God, ever since football ended or everything got canceled, it's like, okay, I'm sorry, I can't watch NASCAR, I can't watch hockey, I can't watch baseball. This is usually when we're like in the heat of basketball season right now. We would be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd be getting pretty close to the finals, NBA finals right now.
We'd be
And
near the conference finals right now, and that's like
oh
one of
yeah,
the best times in basketball. And like, oh God, now I'm talking about that. I'm like,
man,
dang.
that's a whole nother
Yeah.
bag of worms. But I really, really want to see basketball because what really showed how much I miss sports was when I was watching golf when it had Tiger Woods,
That was
Phil
okay. That
Mickelson.
was pretty fun though. I will admit
Yeah,
that was pretty good. That was better than NASCAR. Honestly, I'd
yeah.
rather watch that than baseball. That's my opinion.
No, I would rather watch it too. And it was entertaining to watch because I get to see Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning kind of talk trash to each other, and it makes me laugh. I died whenever he mentioned the Eagles when he's like, Tiger Woods
Dude,
is wearing the Atlanta colors. He's like, no, it's not the Atlanta team, it's the Eagles that that
did you
bother me
see
still.
did you see when Peyton was talking about like who's like
The
he was
caddy.
yeah, and he was like and Tom's like, he's like, oh, he's about to say it, whatever. And then he says Eli and he doesn't really care, you know what I mean? And then he says maybe Nick Foles. And then immediately as he says that, Tom Brady turns around and goes, that was a cheap shot. and I was like, damn, why you gotta disrespect Nick Foles like that, Tom Brady?
My favorite comment he probably made, he was like, you know what, I was thinking about if I had a chance for a caddy, I get Bill Belichick, maybe Rob Gronkowski because he does whatever Tom Brady says. And I died. I went, oh, that was a pretty bad shot
Oh
too.
yeah, and it was right before then, and he was like, he'll retire and then come back and play with him in Tampa after a year.
I didn't know Peyton Manning. I've seen Peyton Manning do
Peyton's
some
from
trash
New
talking.
Orleans, dude. Peyton's from New Orleans. He's got some personality.
Yeah, I remember in Denver, it was a highlight film where they show like the heat of moments, and I remember I watched clips of Peyton Manning. He'll go up to safeties and chirp at them a little bit. I mean, Philip Rivers is probably more notorious when it comes to trash talking because every time I see him yelling at the sidelines, he'll call out the defensive lineman. It's honestly funny to see.
Yeah, because it's
But no,
Philip Rivers.
yeah, and I'm just really excited that I got to see that. I mean, I couldn't watch the whole thing because we were on calls most of the day. Now that I think about it, we were on calls the whole time, so I only get to watch like the start of it briefly
Mm-hmm.
and the ending of it, which I was hoping Phil would pull out because I like Phil Mickelson personally more than Tiger Woods, even though I respect Tiger Woods and that returned the Masters in 2018 to win a major. That was one of the best moments of sports
I
I've
rock
seen.
with the Masters, dude. I know a lot of people aren't into golf, but the Masters is I love watching it.
No, yeah, it's a great opportunity to get some sports back, even though it's for charity and a great cause.
Yeah.
Got to watch Charles Barkley just bomb it at the. Oh man, it was hard to watch. I mean, his golf swing got better, but man, it was hard. It was hard to watch. But I love my favorite moment. Probably if we're talking about the whole thing, was when Tom Brady hit the eagle and was trash talking Charles Barkley. He told him to shut up and sit down. And that's one of my favorite things about like competitiveness is to see that back and forth. Even though Brady, he probably hardly ever golfs ever, and he hits that and he's still trash talking. That's what great players do.
Oh, Brady. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
New Orleans. Oh, New Orleans.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's my life next year. Gotta play Tom Brady twice a year, just casually. But and the Super Bowl's in their home stadium, just casually. But
Honestly, heck of a story if they were able to make it and win.
dude, and they're gonna play the Chiefs. And if they don't play the Chiefs, they're gonna play the Ravens. So like regardless, whoever comes out of the AFC, like whoever they beat, if they beat, it's gonna be really impressive.
No, it's going to be if Brady wins against the Chiefs, it'll be one of the all-time greatest performances because Patrick Mahomes is in his prime.
Dude, he's not even
maybe just entering
25.
Yeah,
he's gonna run the league for the next like decade.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a whole nother story. He makes me sad in some ways just because I knew before, like I mentioned this before about Carson Wentz. He was supposed to be hailed as the next biggest thing. I mean, Colin Cowherd.
Even if he was healthy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
He still wouldn't be.
It would be close if he was like actually where he could run around, throw the ball, but Patrick Mahomes still has better arm talent. I don't see Carson Wentz doing the throws where he looks the other way.
Yeah, like 80 yards,
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple throws. I mean, he made that one
casually.
throw. I know. Carson Wentz made one throw against the Washington Redskins late in the season, which was one of the best throws I've seen. Arguably one of the best because I thought it was intercepted, but he just was able to get in there. But obviously, Patrick Mahomes is the more talented and the better quarterback. I'm not going to dispute that. That's no question. It's disrespectful. Not disrespectful, but kind of.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is a Super Bowl. I mean, Carson Wentz is a Super Bowl, but he didn't play. And that's a whole nother bag of marbles. Yeah.
Carson Wentz is a Super Bowl champion.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, he has a ring.
Technically, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
he put them in position, but he didn't finish it.
Yeah. No. That was
like last season.
That was old boy Nick Foles. But anyways, man, any last thoughts on the NBA coming back? Are you just happy for it to be there potentially?
Yeah, I mean, the NBA is, I think, the one storyline that people have kind of brushed on and talked about is LeBron and all this because I think it benefits LeBron the most. Because if the NBA season was canceled, LeBron would, I think, be screwed in regards to getting another championship. I think it would be extremely hard if he didn't have this season to win it because he's getting older and he's still going to be a great player. I mean, what he's doing right now when the NBA season was going was great. Like he's not as athletic.
He wants to play with his son, dude.
That I don't know. It would be hard, but if anyone can do it, LeBron can.
Yeah, he is a physical freak in nature.
He's a special player, and I know like we argue GOATs, and obviously he'll be top 5 probably in regards to everything when everything's done. But no, I'm glad to see this NBA season resume because I really want to see what the Clippers and the Lakers do.
It's going to be interesting. That's the biggest thing because I think the Lakers have a better chance of winning now than they did before. But then at the same time, if Kawhi is really just going to run the league like he has since 2017, then this is the perfect situation for him. Because he's been load managing for 3 months.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you, but I was going to say Kawhi, if he pulls it off and wins a championship for the LA Clippers, not only would he be winning the first ever NBA championship for the Clippers, but he would be the first player ever to go to 3 different teams, win 3 championships, receive 3 separate teams, and get an NBA Finals MVP.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen now. But in my opinion, when this season was still going on, I had held the opinion that the Clippers were going to win the title. They have a deeper team than the Lakers, just on a lot of different fronts, because they can bring Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams off the bench, which would be starters in any other team. And when you have Lou Williams, if you put
Sweet Lou
Lou Williams, Paul George, and Kawhi, that's 3 guys on the court that are like elite shot makers that you can just give the ball to at the end of the game to win it, take a shot and win a game.
I think they're also, well, besides Lou Williams, Paul George, Patrick Beverly,
Oh yeah, and you've got
Kawhi
Patrick
Leonard. They're
Beverly.
elite. They're elite defenders.
Yeah,
I know Patrick Beverly gets dogged on quite a bit because I mean,
I know a lot of people hate him, but I love Patrick Beverly. I'll say it.
I love him
love
too.
Patrick Beverly because he's so annoying and pesky, and it's hilarious and it's super entertaining to watch, and it works. I mean, yeah, even if like yes, he's gonna get beat some plays and it happens, but the fact is he doesn't change his mentality at all, and he'll still make other plays in the game. He's so annoying to other players, and that's exactly what you want to be as a defender.
Russell Westbrook, especially for reasons that you can argue are warranted. But no, I love Patrick Beverly's heart. And I watched a YouTube documentary on him, and his story is quite incredible from where he came from to where he is now. And I just love his passion, and I appreciate that because I mean, he may get in other people's faces, but I like that because I miss that part of the NBA where you can trash talk. I watch videos now of the NBA referees. I remember I saw Giannis Antetokounmpo slam it down and was talking like, yeah, just on your effing head. And he got called technical for that, to talking to the player when he made an incredible play. The NBA, I miss that competitiveness where you can express it and not get technical fouled every time. But now they're starting to cut that out. Like the last good series was a few years ago when Paul George still played for Oklahoma City and they played against the Utah Jazz. That series was entertaining to watch. Back and forth physical play. Russell Westbrook was shoving Ricky Rubio.
Yeah.
They kept calling fouls. It was entertaining to watch because I love the physical style, and I know the NBA tries to go away from that because they said it didn't get good viewership. Debatable.
I disagree.
Yeah, because I think that's the most entertaining part is when you see physical play and that you see them fighting for it. That's probably one of my favorite moments is when you put that out on the line. But yeah, that was just a whole nother thing. But I just missed that aspect, and Patrick Beverly brings that to the Clippers.
Dude, you know what I forgot about the Clippers too? They got Marcus Morris.
Yeah, he wasn't playing well though when they got him. He just was not shooting well.
I think he's got to fit into their system. But if he fits in and starts playing well, that's another starting caliber player that they can bring off the bench or start if they want to, who can play the 3 or the 4. Like if he's playing it, like the ability that obviously, yes, he wasn't fitting. You know, he was getting introduced to the new team, changing from the Knicks to them mid-season. But dude, like if he can fit in with them and play well, I thought they were the deepest team in the league before they got him. Now that they'd have him, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Like
Markieff Morris,
he's the perfect really good 4 in today's NBA.
He's a really good defender too. He can play defense. I mean, he's not the most elite defender, but he can play defense and he can knock it down from long range. And that's something that you need for the Clippers. I think the Clippers,
and he can post up too.
Yeah, I think Clippers defensively have the edge. I know, but it was weird when I watched the regular season matchups because the Clippers would dominate, then the Lakers would dominate. I want to see a 7-game series. I think it'll answer a lot of questions, and it's all about who you trust more. And what Kawhi Leonard did with Toronto, it's a little bit underrated, I think, because his performances were impressive. I remember watching
what he did in the finals. Dude, what he does, he's a different player in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true, and people don't understand how strong he is. I remember a play where he would go up against Marc Gasol, and he was able to muscle in. And Marc Gasol's a big guy. He's over 7 feet tall and close to 300 pounds. And he was able to muscle it in.
Wait,
Kawhi Leonard's underrated.
Marc Gasol was on the Raptors last year.
Was he? No, was it? I thought it was Marc Gasol on the Raptors last year in the finals. Or maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, Marc Gasol was on the Raptors with Kawhi Leonard. So who was he?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of, I don't know who the defender was. Jeez. At least I made that connection in my head where I knew Marc Gasol was on the Raptors. I was just thinking about.
Was it a Warriors defender? Was it?
Yeah, it definitely was a Warriors defender. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but if you watch the NBA Finals, probably he was doing it to everyone. But
I think did he do that to Embiid too? In the Philadelphia series.
I never really watched that series closely.
No, dude, but I mean, he hit that shot though.
Yeah, I remember that shot because I just remember Kevin Harlan calling it. Kevin Harlan is one of the GOATs when it comes to calling the great like NBA dunk
Dude.
contest, NBA games. Like when Aaron Gordon made that incredible dunk, it's like, no, that's a 60. Yeah, it is a 60. He just gets everyone hype, and I
Yeah.
love Kevin Harlan.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned that because yesterday I was playing Rocket League with my friend Derek, and we were about to score, and it was like 1 second left, and I on my headset, I'm just like, "Is this the dagger?"
Is this the dagger? Yeah, I love it's great because he's one of the announcers that I love watching and listening to because he's got a really unique voice, but the way he times it too, it's
Yeah.
almost uncanny. Like he just knows what to say in those moments, and I get really mad. It's like, dang, it's so
Yeah.
perfect every single time. But I know that guy
It
puts in
really
the
is. It really is. Well, all right, Connor. Thank you so much for coming on. I think we're gonna wrap things up here.
yeah.
Thank you so much for having this beautiful Blue Yeti Nano. It's gonna make
Yeah.
the audio quality phenomenal. But with that being said, y'all go listen to Connor's new podcast, which will be debuting as on schedule right now next Sunday. Keep an eye out for that. I'll be posting all about this tomorrow on Twitter. If you're on this episode, you probably saw that. And if you've listened this far, thank you so much. Connor, any final words for your podcast and also just anything at all before we wrap up?
No, I appreciate you having me on again. It was kind of nice to test this microphone out because I didn't know if I was going to test it whenever I was going to do interview Wednesday or I was going to be doing it for the podcast. But now I kind of know how to use it now, and so I appreciate that, and I appreciate always having me on. Apologize to the listeners if there's some background noise, and that's a little bit frustrating. So I'll have to figure out a way to get to a place where I can be okay with no noise. But yeah, now I have some experience doing this, so I'm really excited. Can't wait to debut my new podcast this weekend.
That'll be super awesome, man. Hey, man, honestly, you live upstairs in your house, right?
Yeah, I do. Now I was thinking about that because I can close the doors,
And just
so
go in
I
your
might end
room.
up doing. I just have a chair. Just
That's
have a
literally
chair.
what I'm doing right now. I'm just in my room, shut the door, and we're good to go.
Yeah, yeah. I should have thought about that. I
You're
didn't realize
good.
how sensitive. I didn't realize
Hey,
how sensitive this thing
but
is.
this is a
The
great
microphone.
setup. Hey, and you learned. That's another reason why I wanted to have you on, so you could test it out, get all the kinks out before your first episode in a not even like a fake podcast either, like in just a real straight up, what it's actually going to be like for you. Obviously, you'll be solo for the start of it, but still, and the interview that you have with the new Texas State assistant volleyball coaches. So by the time that this is out, that will not be out, but keep your eye out on at KTSW Sports to see Connor do that. Hopefully we'll have a YouTube page up. Good Lord, that's something we need. And go watch that as well, because that'll be super cool content. Obviously, maybe not on everybody on here is into Texas State volleyball, but hey, if you're a sports fan, you need sports right now, go check it out. That'll be up within the coming weeks.
For sure, it's gonna be really exciting. Can't wait to do that.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, and I will catch you next time.